Well, we're excited to have you back on the program. I know we've missed a few weeks in a row. You've had some health stuff going on. Can you
Yeah.
give everybody an update and just catch everybody up on where you are and what's going on and how you're feeling and all that jazz?
Well, I'm in Oklahoma, which might be obvious, in my office in Oklahoma. Uh, so that's good for me. I flew out here about 2 weeks ago, thinking that it was time to come home and evaluate everything. But on the way here, I contracted a virus, which was not cool. So the guy that helps me here runs my website, Stephen Link. He picked me up and brought me home, and I was feeling really bad. I don't know why. I just got to feeling bad. So uh, we went to the emergency medical thing, and they admitted me to the hospital right away. So that was kind of scary. And I stayed in the hospital here in Oklahoma for three nights, I think it was, which is never any fun. And I was diagnosed as having I think they called it virus A or something along those lines. And so I struggled a little bit for a couple of 3 days, but I got over the hump, as I always do. It seemed like I always kick out. I can't do any jobs, not in Oklahoma. It's like a lot are getting beat in Memphis. It just don't happen.
It don't happen.
So anyway, I stayed in the hospital, a few days. The beautiful part I realized is that I have two daughters that are very helpful, and one especially is helpful because she's a licensed physician assistant, so she can interpret all the doctor stuff and all that. So that's been really good. And so I got out of the hospital. Obviously, I'm not there now, and feeling better. So it was a viral thing, and I wasn't prepared for it, quite frankly. I had to get on oxygen. I had an oxygen unit in my home. Still do. I'm not using it because I don't need it. So I had a little challenge, but that's the way it is. The thing you have to realize, Connie, and you're not there yet, and Bull is not there yet, but you just gotta understand that getting older comes with a price.
Right.
And so anyway, I'm battling and I feel good, actually. I'm going to go. I got some appearances coming up. I got one on July 4th, and I'm doing something for Michael there at High Spots, and I'm going to be in. The next time I'm going on the road will be for the AEW pay-per-view, so I'm going to resume my schedule of that activity. So I'll be at the next pay-per-view, as far as I know. If Tony Khan doesn't want me there, then he'll tell me. But that's not been the case. He's been very supportive, and which I appreciate. He's ended up being a really good boss in that respect, and I appreciate that. He doesn't have to be as nice to me as he is, but he's very nice, and I'm very appreciative.
We know that Forbidden Door is coming up at the end of the month. That's going down June 30th, 2024. Double or Nothing, going to be here before you know it. All Elite Wrestling joining forces with New Japan Pro Wrestling. We've already got a lot of matches that have been announced, like Swerve Strickland, Will Ospreay, and lots of others. But that's the one that everybody's talking about. And I, for one, am looking forward to you being back behind the microphone. Man, I hated you missed the Las Vegas pay-per-view. It wasn't the same without you. I'm glad you're going to get back to it, and we're going to get to hear you on pay-per-view again later this month.
Yeah, me too, Connie. Me too. I'm very blessed, very happy about that situation. I'm going to feel great. I feel good. I could do it right now. I could walk out of this room right now and put my drawers on and go do the show. But anyhow, all good. I enjoy that New York Yankee jersey signed by Mickey Mantle. So all my toys are in here, so it's good. But yeah, I'm going to be there at the pay-per-view. I'm not sure. So everybody always asks, "What are you going to call?" It doesn't matter.
Right.
Why should it matter? that's an egocentric way of looking at it for some people. Well, what are you going to call? Well, what are you trying to say? That if I don't get the match I want, I'm not going? You know, come on. So I find out what I'm going to call when I get there. And I like it that way. It's good. So anyhow, but the wrestling business is certainly not boring right now. I can tell you that.
Well, there's a lot going on. I wanted to see what you thought of all the moving and shaking. We recently saw Ethan Page show up on NXT. They had a big pay-per-view over the weekend with Jordan Grace from TNA appearing. It looks like they've got their own little forbidden door going on there. And
yeah,
at the same time, we're not too far away. I guess it's this weekend is the big Clash at the Castle event, going to be a big premium live event for WWE, and MJF is back, and Who Killed WCW is on Vice. There's lots of stuff going on. What's really caught your attention lately that you'd like to talk about today?
I enjoy the documentaries. I'm a documentary kind of a guy. Enjoy them, and because I guess because I was there for a lot of those things, and I can tell you when somebody's bullshitting us and when they're not. But I enjoy the documentary, so I've been kind of turned on to the pardon me, the all that stuff. I thought Rock and his team did a great job on Who Killed WCW, because, you know, Conrad, what is the answer to that question?
Right.
Who did kill WCW? I don't know the answer to that, to be honest with you. Do you?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think that it's more of a tongue-in-cheek thing. I mean, I think it's apparent to me that, you know, when the Time Warner merger happened, you know, those folks on the corporate level just decided they didn't like wrestling. And that wasn't necessarily a new sentiment. But previously, from what I understand, Ted always had enough power to keep the thing going. And even if it meant it operated at a loss, as it did in 88 and 89 and 90 and 91 and 92 and 93 and 94, and you get the point.
Yeah.
But then, you know, after the merger, Ted just didn't have the same power that he did, and that dynamic had changed. And well, the suits won, and they didn't want wrestling on their station, and it wasn't anymore. But the idea that it became a bargain basement fire sale right there at the end,
yeah,
I'm looking forward to episode 4 as we learn more about that. What was your take on Who Killed WCW?
I don't know. I don't think you can lay it on one guy. You know, I think it's a team effort, so to speak. But I think you hit the nail on the head. The upper brass that called the shots and wrote the checks, so to speak, decided they didn't want to play ball. And when they decided that, then it was a quick, sudden death. It was over. So I'm thinking it was a corporate thing more than anything, because everybody's going to try to blame individuals. You know, Bischoff gets his share of the blame. Is that justified? I don't know that. Kind of doubt it. You know, but now that this topic is out there, a lot of guys are coming out. You know, like Bret Hart's got an opinion, and I always appreciate what he has to say, whether I agree or don't agree. It's irrelevant. But I'm thinking it was a corporate thing and not one guy. I don't think Bischoff should get all the heat for that, quite frankly. If he does, then he should get the credit for the success that it had. To me,
it's interesting. You can't have it both ways. I appreciate you're at least talking logic, but either he built it to be the biggest wrestling company in the world and then he torpedoed it, or it's got to be one or the other. Either he doesn't get any credit for the build nor the blame for the decline, or he gets credit for both. And I don't think that's fair.
I do too. Hey, he did a great job there, and you know, his infrastructure was didn't support him as well as it should have.
Right.
In my opinion, he did a great job. Politics got involved, egos got involved, and he had a very heavy ego company, talent-wise, that had their own opinions and had their own way of thinking and doing things. So I'm kind of leaning toward the corporate side of as the person or the people or the entity that killed it. But there's just fundamental things that happen that just you shake your head and you wonder, you know, the attention to the house shows and live events pretty well died. There was no money there because the old, as the old adage goes, you know, WCW wasn't giving the people what they wanted to see.
That's right.
It's as simple as that. And so anyhow, all good. It's all good stuff. And I'm glad that I got to live through most of it and be involved. It was interesting for my career. And the smartest thing I ever did was leave there. And that's going to sound very, very coarse, but it's the truth. Going to work for Vince was the smartest thing I did in my career wise. And I lasted at Vince's place for many, many years and earned some success. We built a hell of a roster. I think that my biggest accomplishment in wrestling is going to be the roster that we built during the going into and through the Attitude Era. That roster was dotted with Hall of Fame guys and main event talent, and where they were young, and we did it. Vince let me do my work, and I hit on some of them, and some of them I didn't, but most of them came through pretty good, and we developed some great stars out of that group that helped carry us through. It don't hurt to find guys like Stone Cold and Rock, and among others. There are others, but they raised the tide. They did a great job of. They were hungry and they were talented, and they developed, and then they put the pressure on their dancing partners, the Triple H's of the world, Cactus Jacks of the world, all these cats. So it was a good run. It was a good run. It worked out real well for me, and I'm glad I got the chance to explore that and be involved.